Hello and welcome back to Susty Talk. That's Edie's series of video interviews designed to keep you connected with sustainability leaders as we all work remotely, on furlough, or in otherwise very different ways, as I'm sure most of you will agree. And I'm delighted to have dialing in today the CEO of Signify for UK and Ireland. This is a business that we work with a lot, and that is Joao Pola. Thank you so much for your time. How are you?
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. I'm very well. Pleased to be here with you and having the opportunity to discuss.
And you as well. And I see that you're in the office, but I'm presuming that you've been working remotely a fair bit recently. And I know that off the call we've said that you will be in the weeks to come.
Yes, exactly, Sarah. So I think as many of us will be working from home for almost 6 months now. Although we opened the office back in August, now with the recent recommendations from the government, we decided to close it again, meaning that we're using way more digital tools to connect with each other.
And we are talking shortly after the company has just put out a new 2025 sustainability strategy. We've covered it on our site, so people might be familiar with that. But what has it been like putting together and launching a strategy remotely at this point in time?
Yeah, so for us, of course, that sustainability is at the heart of everything that we do. And as employees and everyone that is part of Signify is very proud to what we've been doing so far and what we want to do for the future. So that creates naturally quite an intense level of energy and passion towards the topic. And working on our new goals, our new strategy around sustainability online or using digital tools made it slightly more challenging thanks to the creativity, the ideas we wanted all to share. But we adapted and actually made the process quite an interesting one for all of us.
Mm-hmm. And did you have to think about sort of how to time the launch with what was going on, or was this the sort of date that you were thinking of in the first instance?
Yeah, I think for us something very important was also COVID and how this year is changing how businesses are operating, and actually lastly the emissions that we are all generating meant that we were able to achieve carbon neutrality earlier. So before the end of the year, we can now say that we're a carbon neutral company. And so it just makes total sense that we would announce at this stage our new goals, our new commitments between now and 2025.
Mm-hmm. Great. And for people that haven't seen the strategy, would you mind giving a top level overview of the new targets for us?
Yes, absolutely. So we decided that we want to double our efforts, specifically to reach the Paris Agreement of 1.5 temperature rise, 1.5 degrees of temperature rise. So we decided to double our efforts to deliver that commitment earlier, 6 years earlier, so by the end of 2025. We also decided to double the revenues from circular offers, circular revenues. We call it circular revenues, where we can actually reprint, reuse, repair, refurbish the products that were originally sold. We want also to double our efforts on what we call brighter lives offers, meaning products, services, and solutions that enable food availability to be generated, that enable as well health and well-being products to be made available to people. And lastly, we doubled our efforts on the percentage of women in leadership positions within Signify.
Great. So it's across social as well as environmental, this new strategy.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And you mentioned there about the circular streams. I know you mentioned reuse and refurbishment and longer product lifestyles, but did you say reprinting? Did I hear that right?
Yes, absolutely. So this is when you talk about reprinting. So what we're doing today is we are actually reprinting products by utilizing plastic, where we can then print it on a form of a lighting luminaire. And at the end of the life cycle of that specific luminaire, we can take it back, melt the plastic, and reprint it again, where we can achieve at least 3 to 5 reprints of the same plastic, extending, importantly, the life expectancy of that specific material, which is plastic.
Mm-hmm. Great. And then on plastics, as I'm sure of will be the case with many of the issues that are covered in the strategy, I'm sure that there'll need to be some collaboration to get there. And just looking back from the site, I could see stories about the company's involvement in things like the European Corporate Leaders Group and the 3% Club. So I'd like to ask a bit more about what sort of collaborative initiative you guys will be doing going forward, and whether you think that collaboration will be more important now with the green recovery agenda on the plate.
Yeah, absolutely. So for us, we believe that collaboration is going to be key to tackle the climate change challenges, right? We don't believe that one single individual or organization, corporation can actually solve it. So we truly believe on it. As you mentioned, we're involved with European Corporate Leaders Group. We signed up as well to RE100, EV100 initiative. We're part of the 3% group as well. And I would say just 2 weeks ago, we participated actually on the Corporate Leaders Group UK meeting. And it was quite refreshing and inspirational to learn about initiatives from different companies on different industries to ours, and exchange and share best practices among us. So we believe that a lot of good ideas can be shared and then can be put into action by the different companies and organizations supporting to tackle the climate change challenges.
Mm-hmm. I think it's definitely something we're going to see a lot more of going forward, because I've heard that a few times. I don't know if you have any learnings or advice you could share from the process of taking part in some of those initiatives or events.
I would say, first of all, is really the commitment towards sustainability. I would say it's easy for us to talk about it. It's a topic that it's on the news daily, constantly. And what I would say is really let's commit into it and then establish bold targets for ourselves, for each organization. And the example that we went through as Signify when we discussed to other companies, sometimes maybe the initial step to a bold target can be challenging, but once companies commit, the engagement of its employees, its partners, its customers is quite important. It happens and it becomes achievable, as our bold ambition of becoming carbon neutral by the end of 2020 was achieved even earlier than what we anticipated.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a nice way to sort of conclude. So, as you mentioned, the company is one that pops up in conversations about sustainability leadership and embedded sustainability. So is it a case that these targets are come up with by the sustainability and energy professionals, and then they go and get buy-in from yourself and the other executives, or is it the other way round? So just how does the communication and buy-in work broadly?
I think it's becoming really a combination of both. And in reality, and I must start by saying that at Signify, we're all very proud for the sustainability efforts that we have for what we do. And today what I witness is, although some of the goals, high-level goals are defined from the executives and the top leadership team, actually a lot of suggestions then are made by people at all the different levels and all different geographies in the company. And then we integrate those into the specific actions and activities that we have to achieve those targets. So it's a process that I think all of us are quite proud to be part of and happy to engage with.
Mm-hmm. That's great. I was speaking with someone from Unilever earlier, and he actually said, "Oh, the levels of conversation have never been this high, and they're coming from all different places." So it's good to hear that this is happening broadly.
Absolutely. I can give you an example. So we just had a contest here in our UK organization about cooking and how can we be sustainable cooking. And we had a lot of examples of employees actually showing their garden and how they are actually cooking what they grow in their own gardens, and how that can be an example of sustainability. So it's, a lot of simple examples can really make a difference and inspire everyone for action.
Fantastic. Well, I think that's all the questions that we have time for today. So thank you so much for all your insight and for taking your time.
Thank you, Sarah.
Great, and just a reminder for everyone watching that you can catch up with all of our past Susty Talk episodes by checking the Susty Talk website on our website, that's edie.net, or by going to our YouTube channel, which is simply just Edie. And we'll be bringing you a new episode of these videos at least once a week, so keep an eye out for those. In the meantime, it's a goodbye from me and a goodbye from Joao.
Thank you.